Say hi, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
All right. Got my buddy up here helping me today. We're gonna do good job, buddy. I got materials laid out there. I'm gonna do my absolute favorite tie. Well, I shouldn't say favorite tie. I should say favorite fly. This is it takes up 2/3 of my space in my boxes. It's a Near Nuff crayfish developed by Dave Whitlock. So we're gonna tie it as close to his original pattern as we can get, and you know, we're gonna have fun doing it. So life happening around me, so just bear with me. Nail polish. Every flat tire needs nail polish. So I've already prepped the hook a little bit. I've wrapped back to the bend. I've figure 8 wrapped some gold painted barbell eyes, and now we've got those on our hook. So we're gonna start from right here. So this is just a piece of round. I think it's called well, you know what? It's just round black rubber from White River Fly Shop. I don't care for it, but it's what I have, and I'm going to use it. So I'm going to tie this in there about halfway on one side here, if I can get the thread to cooperate with me. And bring this around the other side. So on my Near Nuff, I like for everything, because technically this is going to be the bottom. So when you're tying this fly, it's going to ride this way in the water. So I kind of like everything to look up. It makes it, I mean, to me, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, but to me, that's how a crayfish is going to defend itself against a smallmouth. You know, claws up. He's not going to look away. He's gonna look the predator in the face. You know, but leave stuff alone. I got that laid out. So now we're going to put in a couple pieces of crystal flash, and this is just standard crystal flash, UV crystal flash. All right. Now I've just got a orange barred set of crazy legs. So we're just going to do one piece there, again, and tied to the middle. Let that hang. So grab a pair of scissors. The original pattern called for, our first tie-in here was the black round silly legs. So we'll tie those fairly long. We want them about a hook and a half past the bend of the hook. So we'll trim them about there, get rid of the rest. The UV, I usually leave 2 pretty long, and I'll cut 2 about the same length as that round black silly legs. And then the splayed barred orange crazy legs will do about the length of the hook. So now that those are all cut the same length, or the length that I like them, we are going to tie in, let's see, we'll do the mouth parts now. And Dave Whitlock, when he did the original tie, the mouth parts are just basically some rabbit zonker. So that's kind of what you've got when you trim that up, and that'll act as kind of the moving. You know, the crayfish have all the weird moving mouth parts, and that's basically what we're tying in here. I've seen this done a couple different ways. I know what I like to do. Next, we're going to put the eyes in, and I've just got some mono crab eyes, and I'll show you those here in a second. But Dave Whitlock's SLF blend, I think it's it's synthetic living fiber. So basically, there's some rabbit in there. There's some synthetic stuff. So we'll twist up a little bit of dubbing on our thread here, and we'll build up a ball. Right on the end of that mouth part. So, and I think that'll be good. Now we can come in here with the mono eyes. So you can make these yourself fairly easy. These I actually bought because I didn't have time this weekend to make any eyes and I was out. So we'll put these in here and try to get them to splay. These are fairly easy to get to stay in the right spot. And you can wrap these a couple times, and if you don't like them, you can actually pull them one way or the other. They'll slide in and out of that thread. So now we've got both of them tied in. We'll shorten this one just a little bit till they're even. So now we're gonna go back to the dubbing. And the claws that I'm using, you can see I've already cut a V in them and prettied them up with my my toenail polish here. Don't tell anybody. So that's just creating a hot spot. I think sometimes makes a difference. Fish to kind of focus in on, but it's an easy thing to do, and you know, Mr. Whitlock started that, and why not? So we're gonna keep on with that tradition. And what I'm using here for the claws is just a soft tackle hen, just a relatively inexpensive, and then there's a ton of stuff you can do with that. So they make a bunch of different colors, but I'm using kind of the lighter variation of that. So as I stated before, this is actually the bottom side of the fly. So what we're going to do is we want these feathers, and you see they've got a natural bend to them. So we want these feathers to splay out to the side, but we want them to face down when they do it. So we can wrap a couple times and try to get it to, and it's going to be a booger. We might end up wrapping onto this ball a little bit to secure it. Now I don't want them splayed too hard, but This is the hardest part of the fly, I guarantee it. I hate it. There we go, I like that. And we're not going to worry too much about it because UV resin at the end of this video will take care of any, oh my goodness. It's gonna definitely take care of these because I'm having trouble with these. So well, that one tied in just great. Starting to hold my mouth crooked. This one's not wanting to do what I want it to do. I think that'll work for us for now. So we'll wrap back here and capture that stem up, and wrap back to the claws, and we'll trim out the excess stem on those feathers. Yeah, we can get that to do what we want it to do. So now we're going to build the body with same dubbing, Dave Whitlocks SLF, and I think this dubbing was designed with this fly in mind. There's one other video on how to tie this fly out there that I've found. It's a in the riffle video, and that's actually how I originally learned how to tie this fly. So you got to give credit where credit is due. So before we get too far into our dubbing body, we're going to tie in our soft tackle. So this is what I'm using for kind of the leg parts on the body. So we're going to tie this in from the tip. We're going to grab that tip and we're going to pull some of those fibers back a little bit, just like you've seen me do on some of the schlappen stuff. And we're going to tie up, if I can get it up onto this dubbing ball, there we go, tie up onto this dubbing ball and try not to do what I just did and trap those fibers, but there we go. So we'll tie this in, and I'm going to redub that because that looks horrible. Real sparse dubbing will just make it look like I didn't mess that up. Yeah. Something like that. All right, a little bit more dubbing. And what we'll do is we are gonna dub around the dumbbell eyes. So let me get a little bit of this trimmed out of there. It doesn't look too scraggly. Okay. And like I said, this is my absolute favorite pattern to fish in the pre-spawn time for smallmouth. Man, hitting a pool where there's a bunch of smallmouth that are hungry and waiting for a molten crayfish to come rolling through. This is it. So I'm gonna dub a little bit more on here, and then we're gonna figure eight our eyes again, just to kind of cover up the ugliness there and make it a bit buggy. Or pull that and make that a little bit more sparse there. There we go. So I'll catch that underneath that eye, and we'll let that hang right there for a second. And I'm going to get a set of hackle pliers, and we are going to try to wrap this hackle without wrapping a bunch of fibers. It's my fishing buddy Cobber. She was saying hi. And I've already trapped some fibers. Not my night. Alright, so we're going to wrap this slow, and I'm going to try to palmer some of this back as I go. There we go. And this will bite into the dubbing loop just a little bit, and we're unwinding our loop from our eyes, but that's okay. It's not rocket science. All right, I'm gonna let that hang, and I'm gonna fix our dubbing here. We'll come around this and capture that hackle. And I'll come in here and I'll trim that off. And this is a fairly small version of this fly. This would kill some carp. This would definitely kill some smallmouth. So we'll come back here and we'll clean up the back end of that hook. We're not quite done yet. I'm going to take that rabbit zonker that we've been trimming on for the mouth parts. We're going to do the tail of a crawfish. So if you've ever seen a fleeing crawfish, they tuck their tails, and boy, they move. So this is basically gonna make that crawfish appear to have a tucked tail, and he's gonna be ready to motivate. So just pulling some loose fibers out from underneath that, and we're gonna come right here. We don't want to make that too big, but I think somewhere right in there. And secure that, and it'll stick up and look kind of weird, but trust me, when this is in the water, it is ridiculous. Then we'll clean up the head a little bit, and we'll whip finish for Courtney. So 3 or 4 times, and we'll use that bobbin to pull it up, and give it a pull and a trim, and then my favorite head cement. Don't tell anybody. And we'll come back in here. Just touch that thread so it locks up. And then actually our claws look pretty good, but what we'll do is we'll come in here with some Loon Flow, And we'll put a little bit up here at the claws, and I'll secure that one, and then we'll get this one turned. Now we want to get it turned a little bit more loon flow on there. We'll hit that with the light, and now they're not going anywhere. So we have just finished a Whitlocks Near Nuff, and on a size 4 Gamakatsu B10S, and it's just, what a wonderful, wonderful fly. I dig it. All right, I'm gonna go discipline some kids. Have fun tying it. Ozarks Streamer 101, Ozarks Smallmouth Alliance.